about Riddhi Doshi.
So many speeches.
Patel. She is a TEDx speaker, and till I did not know her story. She's an honest, very beautiful person, and
Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead with the first. I don't know how many places my. Okay, guys, you'll have to just support me. I've never done so many different screens together.
so I'm going to just go ahead with the first
Two places where I'll have to unmute. Oh God.
Maybe you can switch off the volume.
Now it'll happen. No, it was on the Facebook. I had to mute it. Just give me a minute now. Okay. Guys, can you see the screen? The black screen? Okay, let's start with you.
I consider myself blessed because I have born in a family, a very elite family, in a highly educated family. So my mother is a doctor, my dad is an engineer. In our family, time, importance of time, unity, family values, this was something which was given to us right from the beginning. And since we were nuclear family, so we were 4 daughters and parents, and we used to stay in Nausari because my father was the general manager with Tatas. So he was the one who started the...
Okay. Because these were only made for like one minute, so you'll have to bear with it.
Surat. And that's where we had to shift from Bombay to Navsari. I was born in Navsari, in fact. And so being a nuclear family, all the time, it was parents and sisters with you. And the values and family time was so much into us that for us, friends didn't matter. All the time, what mattered was books, going out with family, playing with sisters. And, you know, I had a huge garden and a very huge bungalow. Probably we were 6 of us, but we had a bungalow which could accommodate nearly 60 of them. So there was so much of play area within the space. So we never felt that life is can be difficult later on when you grow up or when you are up in your career and all. So till I completed my graduation and we shifted to Ahmedabad before my graduation and all, everything was so smooth and everything was so... ups and downs which was created by me or probably within my school periphery. So if I didn't understand something or my results went down, that was the only setback. Till then, there was the word setback was never there. In fact, I remember that when I was going for my MBA and simultaneously I applied for CS also. And that was the first time in my life that I got failed just because of 1 mark. So in CS, it is 195, 199, I got out 200. And that was such a huge setback for me that I felt that, okay, dunya yahan khatam ho gayi hai. Because I'd never seen all that stuff till then. Money was never an issue. Space was never an issue. Everything was like, I would say I was born with a silver spoon. And things were so good till the time I got engaged. I was working...
You'll have to give me a minute. Okay.
So coming back to the time when I got engaged. So it was like the engagement happened so fast and yes, from known people, family, friends, everything was so good. And just few days later when I came to Bombay for that invited me to for shopping. And when I came here, I got to know that the guy whom I was engaged to was a gay. And that was kind of a shock for me, because that was the first guy I ever had, thought of the, okay, engagement ho rahi hai, and the life was so, till that setback was never there. So life was so easy, so good, everything was fine. And then when we got to know about this, my parents decided to call off the engagement, and I couldn't take it. I was emotionally, mentally down, to the extent that I didn't even feel like I'm going out of the house. I never felt like meeting people. So it's been around 7 to 8 months that I preferred staying in house. I avoided meeting people. I thought, what would people say if I go out? And they would say, okay, well, engagement kaise toot gaya? The years back. And that was so much bothering till the time my sister had come. She came from Canada, and so my pet name is Dolly. So she and my Jijaji. So then that was a family get together. Whenever my sister comes, all the sister we gather, and we four, we Jijajis and everybody are there together. And I don't know what, but they had decided, and they made me sit, and they said that you have studied psychology, you have been taking lectures with colleges, you have been a trainer yourself. Why are you doing this to you? Why aren't you able to come out of it? Let us support and help you to understand, or help you to let go this. This has happened, now what? And so beautifully, 15 days we were all together, and so beautifully the things they had planned for me in a way that I started feeling that, oh, hey, Riddhi, this is not something where you need to be staying in that space. And they helped me to come out of it. So
I really respect all of you for letting this go this way.
so I was already working before with the school. I was heading a department, and because of that, I had got even a national award. So everything was so easy. And then when this sort of thing came, it was very difficult for me to accept. And when I started searching for a job, the first job I took was with the corporate sector, and I was offered a post of L&D head there. So again, I started keeping myself busy and started working. Then there was no looking back. I never wanted to get married. I decided that, okay, I'll adopt a child and I'm good to go for life. I have enough bank balance, I have enough everything. I don't want to get married. For what should I get married? So that was so much fixed in my mind that I stopped even looking. My parents used to ask for guys or their profiles, and I never took interest, to an extent that my cousin sister had invited a guy home to just meet me. And I was on the first floor. My room was on the first floor. My parents used to ask for guys or their profiles, and I never took interest, to an extent that my cousin sister had invited a guy home to just meet me. And I was on the first floor. My room was on the first floor of the bungalow. I didn't come down to meet him. I said, I had told, no, I don't want to get married. I mean, why? So from there, this thing started falling back. And yes, then I met Tushar, my husband, the one whom I'm wedded at the moment. And in the men in your life. So initially it was that I wasn't able to trust him, but he was so patient and so beautiful. The relationship started falling on place that I started trusting people then, So that 2.5 years where I had stopped trusting people, had gone a little negative. In spite of me, a psychologist, I had gone a bit negative. And then I started working with me when I met Tushar. I started working, I started trusting people, I started concentrating on different fronts of life. Again, post-wedding, after 5.5 months, I was pregnant. And yes, that was a late pregnancy. I was already 29 then. So everybody was so happy that things are good. And within a month and a half, I had a miscarriage. And again, I said, okay, now what? Then second, after 4 months, I was pregnant again. And everybody was taking so much care because both the families were so concerned about me that like I was, जो मैं मांगू उस हिसाब से था, मैं ये मांगू तो ये था मेरे लिए. It was so much for me that it was going so much overwhelming sometimes. And by 3.5 months, the fetus, the heartbeat stopped in the womb itself. And I remember that I was in Ahmedabad that time, and Tushar had thrown a party over here because he's working with a CA firm, a big four, and he had become a director. So, there was a combined party that my wife is pregnant and we're expecting, and this is the post I have got, and everything was beautifully planned. And I was supposed to fly in the evening to Bombay, and I went to the doctor, and we got to know that there are no heartbeats. So from there, one doctor to another, and I called up my mom, and I was sitting there and crying loudly. Then I said, I don't know, I don't want to cry. And I started, then my sister, my Jiju, my mom, my mother, everybody came, my papa. And then we started going to one doctor to another. And I was pleading to the doctor that देखिए ना शायद कुछ heartbeats शुरू हो जाए कि आप देखो कि कुछ ठीक तो है ना, कहीं एक डॉक्टर से गलती हो गई है. So we did around 5-6 hours, I was just moving like this. And the doctor said that, okay, it's just not possible. And that same night I was hospitalized because I was turning blue. So till the time Tushar also came back, and we were told that shayad main zinda na rahu kind of. The very next day morning I was operated, everything went good, and I was told that you will never become a mother. So once again, a phatka kind of thing in life, said life is just ended because I so wanted a child. Right from the beginning, when I was in college days, from there, I loved children. So I didn't know what to do. No works, no social media, everything came to a standstill. And I was just at home. I started undergoing medication. I underwent my advanced postpartum living. I was in Bangalore for some time. Then I was in Ahmedabad, and I was with family and all that stuff. I was much okay. And after 6 months, I got pregnant again for the third time. And this time, again, my pregnancy was, doctor said that we don't know because we never knew that you can become a mother. So I was bedridden for 3 months, and I'm not somebody who can stay at home for a longer time. I have been working since I was in the first year of college. My RINs I started when I was 19. So I'm not somebody who can stay at home, can be a very a homemaker kind. I'm not that. So staying at home is kind of, it kills me. It makes me feeling frustrated from within. So that's the time I started my business from home, and that was Mocktail Gazebo. And I said, okay, I can't go out, it's fine. I'm bedridden, it's fine, but I can always work at home. So I started talking to the website developers, and when I was in London, I had learned about mocktails and all. So I was doing my psychology and all. So I launched this business. So when my child was 3 months, my website was on, my business was up and running. And yes, but again, in this pregnancy also, I was told that the child is okay. So when I was in Ahmedabad for kite flying, and I was told that हम Bombay आ रहे थे. We were supposed to fly the very next day. So doctor को just दिखाने गए थे. He said, हाँ अभी तो बहुत देर है ना, तुम्हारा February में है. Why you worrying? Just have a nice time. And When he did a checkup, he said the child is a bridge baby. So the child stopped moving by, I think, by 7, 8 months. And again, we didn't know what is bridge baby. So again, I sat on Google to understand what is a bridge baby and how the things move. And my placenta was low. So before 1 month only, not even a month, 3 weeks before I started bleeding. And the doctors admitted and a lot of emergency thing happened. All of a sudden, सब दौड़ा भागी होना शुरू हो गया, बॉम्बे से सब वहाँ पे आ गए अहमदाबाद, and everybody like kind of tensed. I was not comfortable getting operated before the day. Somewhere I felt that even I lose this child. I was so scared. I was so fearful. And then, I don't know what happened, but you say magic, you say God, you say universe supporting, I just don't know. But all of a sudden, there was somebody came to meet me. So I was in the hospital room admitted, and there was the room besides my room. So me, my mother, my sister were sitting, and this lady came and ऐसे ही क्या तबीयत ठीक नहीं है? Okay, and you should see the lady's face, such beautiful aura. I mean, I just don't know how to relate to it and how to explain. And बाजू के रूम में हमने थोड़ी देर के बाद पूछा तो वहाँ पे बोले कि वो रूम तो कितने टाइम से खाली है, वहाँ पे तो कोई आया ही नहीं है. But the lady came and told us that मेरी daughter बाजू के रूम में है. Okay. And this lady who came and she said कि अरे क्या हो गया, क्यों ऐसे सो रही हो? क्योंकि I had called for a doctor's meet as well. So the doctors were so understanding that a child specialist, anesthetist, and the doctor who was going to operate me, everybody came to meet me, you know, and I had a meeting with them. I wanted to understand that what will happen if, because I have a psychology background, so I wanted to understand that if a child is preterm 3 weeks, what can happen. So this lady might have got to know about it, and she came and and all of a sudden she's telling me, "अच्छा चलिए थोड़ा सा meditation कर लेते हैं." And I said, "Okay." So everybody of us meditated, and after some time, हमने उनको बात किया, and I felt so relaxed. I felt so relaxed that I was all set. Sorry. Was all set to get operated, and things really went good, and I started giving that positivity to my child. So the child, which was born 3 weeks before, is now a 9-year-old, and such a positive, such a creative baby. So those 9 months which I had taken sabbatical from work, and while I was at home, the fears I had, I was making them into a positive segment, and I was connecting with my child. I was connecting talking to my child. I was helping my child to understand that, hey, look, your mom is facing this, but I want your support. You know, together we're going to make this life beautiful. So I felt so connected with the baby. And over the whole day, I used to talk to my child. I used to talk to my child about, and my mother had already explained me about Garbh Sanskar. I was reading a lot of books. So that's something which I started doing while I was pregnant. Yes, so this has been the journey of ups and downs. But in this journey of life, I have seen that whenever I have been somewhere stuck in the space of negativity, I had people who had come with no rhyme and reason. They had come in my life and they pulled me out. You know, they had helped me to let go, and they had helped me to be myself, the way I was before. And that all made me more, more sure of launching Nadja, what I'm running right now. Talking to my child, I was helping my during my college days, and we had full freedom to move out. My parents have been really liberal. We were just to tell them that where we are, but there were no restrictions as such. And I saw that my friends had to lie to come out, to go out with us or our friends and all. And that made me feel that why this? Because their brothers could move out easily late night, kuch nahi tha, but they were thinking twice going out and all. So तब से ही mind में चल रहा था और ये सब चीजें हुई. And the more I started meeting women and all, I felt that there was a need of creating the space where women can talk freely, share. There is somebody to support them, even if they want to cry, or even if they want to share something which they are not able to share with their family members also, they can freely share with their fellow women, and it's completely non-judgmental. So that's how Lajja was started. That's how Mocktail Gazebo was started. And that's have been my life up till now. I'm turning 40 soon. Yes, I'm turning 40 soon. That's all about me and my life.
Okay, I'm going to ask.
They were a rock solid support to me, both of them. They were a rock solid support to me, both of them. In fact, there were few things where I always felt that my father was the best. And there were few things where I always felt that my mom was best. Inspiring, constantly motivating, She left her career because I was young. So constantly being with us, giving us creative ways to learn, grow ourselves. And she was so childlike. Probably what I am right now, and I have selected psychology just because I saw my mom handling us, and so beautifully. Yeah, all 4 sisters, and she was there with all 4 as the way they wanted. So it was not that the upbringing, what I got, the same upbringing my sister got, or probably the same talks she did with my sister, the same thing she did with me. No, she was different with me when the way I needed my mom to be. And she was different with my sister where she needed somebody like a friend. For me, I didn't wanted a friend because I already had my sisters as friends. I had a huge group of friends, So I never seeked a friend in my mom. But I always wanted my mom, that there were times while I was young that I would lose confidence and I would go and check with her. Do you think I can do this? So everything when I used to start doing, I would just go and ask her once, do you think I can do this? And she would say, yeah, I know, I'm sure of it. And that is the way she used to kind of motivate. So that was something which my mother handled it beautifully. This places where I was losing confidence in the outside world. You talk about going for trekking, you talk about driving a two-wheeler, or giving back to boys who were harassing. My father was there. He used to say, okay, I'm there now, just go and handle, kuch hoga to main dekh lunga. So it was kind of, I felt that I am strong, or I am standing tall at the moment just because of my mother and my father. Wow. They were mentors, they were teachers, they were everything for me.
Wow. Give me a little bit of background of your grandparents. Thank you.
So my mother's father had been a Raj Vaidya. Vikram Sarabhai and all has been his patients. Okay. And my mother's mom had been a princess of Jamnagar. Okay. And yes, they had a palace like home there in Ahmedabad. So beautiful place. And then they were my mom were 4 brothers and 3 sisters. There were 7 of them, and my father's side. So my father's mother expired when my father was 1.5 years. So my father then had a very good childhood. He had a stepmom, and the stepmom was really very cruel, as you see in Cinderella and all that. As much as similar to that stories, we had so, and then my father's father decided that this is the thing. So when he was 9 or 10, he was sent to hostel to study, and from there, while he was in 11, so he was sent to London for his further studies. So as such, he never stayed with his family except his my dada. And yes, he was very strong, but somewhere we had heard the stories, and I remember my father used to tell us that the neighbor, my father, whenever he used to come to Bombay, so my dad is from Bombay, a townie, and whenever he used to come to Bombay from London or from his hostel, his stepmom would never entertain him. So वो जो balcony होती है, balcony में छोटी सा पारी रहता है, उसके ऊपर उसको सुलाया जाता था. Okay, और सब खाना खा लेते थे, फिर my father used to get food. So, and then initial years, she thought that this can be a burden for her. So she sent my father to his grandmom. So my dadi's mother's place, okay, to a small village, Balasinor. So my father's initial years was in Balasinor, but that nani of my father was so kind, and they have brought up my dad as if he was her own son, you know, and so beautiful relation they had with each other. So till years, in fact, my father always thought that she is the mother. Till the time he got to know that while he was 1.5, his own mother had expired. So my grandparent, my father's side, he didn't have much a good childhood. My mom was again like me, born with a silver spoon, but my father had a lot of hardships, and that's the reason he always ensured that he gave us 4 sisters a very secure childhood, and he always believed in creating memories.
Wow. Okay, guys, so this was a big compromise to the real person, but I just felt that I haven't put her on the Facebook, or did it go? I have no idea. It's still showing me live. I can't see anything on the Facebook.
It is
though.
on Facebook.
Wonderful. So the thing is that I could have let it go and say, you know, she could be in mourning for the next 20 days, 30 days. But I just felt that the message, she has created a organization called Lajja, where she has about 1,500 women. And 1,500 women are being taken care of by her. And she does everything, including money and every bit of her resource. So when we go through tough times, our tough times become the fire to drive us through. Our tough times become the wind under our wings. Our tough times and the way we deal with it show the resilience that we have. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel tired. But it's not okay to give up, guys. And that's why I bring these stories to you. Story of Vasvi, who never gave up on her rejection. Story of Riddhi, who never gave up on her rejection. So what? How did Vasvi say? Who cares? Do you know what? Even if the whole world doesn't care, you care. You care what happens to you. And believe me, when you start caring about what happens to you, everything changes. So thank you very, very much for supporting me and letting me. I know it was like one after the other and there was no continuity, but it wasn't supposed to have continuity. Feedback time, guys.
It was different, but it was very nice.
Thank you.
She was honest to the core and very, very interesting. Yes.
Thank you so much, Archana. Anybody else would like to share? I don't know why I'm shivering for the last 5 minutes.
I think it was very honest, and it was very from the heart, and the way she spoke about everything, like the details, and unflinchingly. I thought that took guts. So I thought it was great. It touched the heart.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to say something? I'm not on the Facebook right now. I didn't even know whether it was going or not going. Anybody else would like to share or say something? Okay. So this is where we call off today. The next session, which is on the 1st, is going to be Richard Fluke, my mentor, who's going to be talking about his inspirational story. And I am really looking forward to it myself. So see you guys again on 1st. We complete this, and I was asking Bini, how long should I continue? And she said another 3 months. And I looked at her and I said, don't joke. She said, no, I'm not joking. So let's see what and how long I'm able to get speakers.
I just
God.
want to say, when I'm with you, Anumati, I feel like I'm in the sky over the rainbow, over the clouds.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Thank
I
you.
just want to say that.
Thank
From
you, Anu, and thank you, Vasvi. Bye.
Yeah, even in this lockdown.
Love you
Lockdown has been a party, absolutely.
all.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a lockdown Zoom party.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
Thanks, Anu.
guys. Bye bye, guys. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye. Love you all.
Love.